Look at all the lovely people. This is amazing. Oh man. Hello, hello. And it is 2 o'clock. This is so incredible. I say, let's get going. Welcome to our March 2025 general meetings. I was just counting down. After this meeting, 3 more general meetings before I hand the baton officially over to Bryant. Bryant, get ready. Get ready. That's all I have to say. But thank you all for being here today. I just want to remind us all to.
Oops. Oh.
Sorry, that's so weird. Okay. Don't know how much of that, giving Bryant a hard time, telling him he's going to have to take over soon. But I wanted to remind everybody to keep in mind our 4 pillars of professionalism, teamwork, assuming positive intent, and fostering community wherever we find ourselves. So we have a very exciting and jam-packed meeting today. So I'm going to pass this over to Ashley to kick things off.
Oh, I wasn't muted. Sorry, I'm trying to let people in and do this at the same time. I thought I'd changed it so if you RSVP'd, you got to come in automatically, but obviously still learning a few things about this.
Okay,
fun
so
new
we're good then, Andrew. I'll talk to you later.
Oh, okay. So anyway, I sent the minutes yesterday, and I did receive a couple of edits. It turns out I've been spelling liaison wrong the whole year, so that's fun. And also there was a section in the Board of Trustees where I had doubled the. So just like that. However, I've changed those. I didn't really feel the need to show you, but they will be in the file. So for all voting members, I need a motion to approve the minutes and a second.
I motion.
Thank you. And second.
Thank you. To wait for that magical time in heaven, saying no things.
For all of you who are voting members, could you please raise your hand if you approve the minutes with those edits? Okie dokie. I'll let you put your hands down. Do any oppose those minutes or? Okay, and any abstain? All right, the meeting minutes for February have been approved. Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay, well, let's pass it over to Bryant for UUSC update.
I just got a update this morning. The second of our professional development meetings, panel discussion meetings, will be happening on the 20th of March. I just got the flyer this morning for that. I'll send that to Anne so that we have that for the staff council social media, and then Maria, I'll also let you know. I'll send it to you as well. It's in our little Slack channel, but that should be really great. So that panel is it is a group of the leaders from the research administration group here at the University of Utah, and it's just basically going to be talking about their career development and what they were able to do, and give everyone else some insight on how maybe to help develop our careers as well. And that's all I got.
Excellent. Sorry, just trying to find my mic unmute button. Thank you so much for that. Board of Trustees, the meeting is actually next Tuesday for the month of March. And for anyone who wants to watch, starts at 9 o'clock and is broadcast on Zoom, is broadcast on utah.edu/live. And this month's meeting will not be in person. It will be on Zoom. So Bryant, you'll be presenting our staff council report there. And I believe they're going to give an update on things related to strategic plan, and fun things like that. So should be a good meeting.
I'll take notes.
Excuse me?
I said I'll take notes.
Thank you. Thank you. And then in terms of Academic Senate, for those who were not on that call earlier, I think that was just Monday. Seems like forever ago. I was just going through my notes and some of the highlights that I wanted to share. Amongst other things, Jason Perry hopped on for 5 minutes maybe in between sessions up on Capitol Hill. And he said it was looking like from a budget compensation standpoint, it was looking like universities were going to get not a COLA, around 2.5% is what he said. Again, not a COLA. So I don't know what that translates to, but I guess there will be money coming from the state to the universities. So he mentioned that. He also mentioned as well the Gen Ed bill that I'm sure folks have read about. That is going to be a new program that's starting at Utah State University this next year, I believe. And what else? And he did as well talk about the fact that university president selection will be going, generally speaking, more private going forward. Those were sort of his big three. Also, I thought it was really interesting that Erin Rothwell was on the call and she gave an update, seemed to be live from Washington, D.C., on the status of, NIH funding. Brian, I don't know if you've heard, she had a town hall this week. I don't know if you'd heard any updates, but it sounded like at that meeting that we were roughly already at around 600-ish plus million in research funding that had already been funded, which was comparable to last year.
Yeah, I believe it was 680.
680.
Yeah.
So those were some interesting highlights. And then just I would mention Chris Nelson brought up the fact that we have now started to celebrate the university's 175th anniversary. And if any of you want to know anything about these cool virtual backgrounds that Bryant and I are sporting, you can check out 175.utah.edu, which has a bunch of archival photos, a list of events during the year, links back over to brand.utah.edu, where you can find logos and backgrounds and presentation templates. In fact, you can even download an email signature with a 175 logo. So check it out and start celebrating. But I think those were the highlights. Brian, anything you'd add that I didn't mention from Academic Senate?
Not that I can think of it. It was my first meeting, so I was a little overwhelmed, but it was
yes,
good.
It is quite overwhelming. Yes, there's a lot they do. Okay, well then, David, let's pass it over to you to talk about bylaws.
Yeah, just a reminder, I'm going to set a date on this. So if everybody could get me any proposed bylaw changes by the last day of March, I would like to bring those to either the April or at the worst case, May meeting for a vote. Just to make sure at this point, we did some changes in the fall. If there are any substantive changes, we can make those, but it'll also be a lot of just upkeep and making sure that everything's cohesive and correct. So if you see anything, let me know by the end of March.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay, Bryant, what you got going on?
So as some of you might know, today we are doing our executive committee elections. So there are 3 positions that are open. So what we're going to do today is we're going to open the ballots for 30 minutes. I'll post the link in just a second. You'll have 30 minutes to fill out that ballot, and at the end of that 30 minutes, we'll cut it off. I'll go through and tally up, and at the end of the meeting today, we will announce who has won the election. So I just want to go over our, per the bylaws, we're just going to go over all of our candidates. The president-elect position did have a letter of intent that they sent to us that we provided with the agenda yesterday. So if you haven't already read those and you would like to, you can go through and read those. Yeah, so I'm just going to go through and read the nominees. So for our president-elect, we have Cody Carbone, Ali Mensdorf, and Manny McBride. For our secretary-elect, we have Bency Johnson and Ashley Hogan. For our treasurer-elect, we have Seema. Oh, I apologize for my phone rings. For our treasurer-elect, we have Seema Samuel and Jason Lee. And here is our ballot. So go ahead and vote within the next 30 minutes, and then we will cut it off. Marie, do you want me to pay attention to that minute and make an announcement when we're cutting it off?
Yeah, that'd be great. And just a reminder, voting is just for members. So if you are an alternate, please do not vote. If you're ex officio, please do not vote. And if you are not a member of staff council, please do not vote. But we will check. And please note this voting is anonymous. The only person who's going to see your name, and the reason we ask for your name is just to make sure it's a valid vote, will be Bryant as president-elect. So, but yeah, so 30 minutes. You've got till what? 2:42.
2:42.
And then, yeah, Bryant, once you have called that, then we'll get you the results so you can tally. All right, excellent. And then as a reminder, because we'll say it a lot, we still have, and I believe, Bryant, you're taking nominations for other positions though for next month?
Yes. So the nomination page that I sent out will also have the chairs and the chair-elects positions that are open. So if you feel like there's someone who is good, would be good for this position, or if you yourself feel like you'd be a good for that position, please nominate yourself and or someone else, and I'll go through and communicate with everybody. And we'll do those at the next general meeting in April.
Do you mind just dropping that? Do you have that nomination link that we can drop in the chat too?
I will grab that right now. Thanks.
Excellent. Excellent. Thank you. All right. Well, it is 2:13, and unless someone has a time constraint, I'd say let's just jump into our committee updates. So Susan or Sean, any updates from the development committee? Assuming.
Sorry, it took me a minute to get my mic off too. What's going on? It's like we need
I don't know.
Instant mic button, like a big red sign. Yeah, so I'm having surgery next week, so just getting that out there. And so I'll be out of commission for a little while, hopefully not too long. And Sean is going to be kindly taking over our regularly scheduled committee meeting for us. So thank you to Sean. And then we are launched on our brand new Faculty Club annual scholarship that is available to everyone in our staff council newsletter that came out in March. So you would have seen that in your inbox a little while ago. I understand we already have activity on that and applications. This will be going directly to your account at the University of Utah. So, you can use it towards any kind of certification or degree that you might be interested in pursuing next fall. So that's our biggest moment there. And then Sean is helping me out while I'm stepping away for a minute we're just going to sort of continue to slowly push forward in our collaboration with the advancement office and getting, we have a great list that we can now mail to. We have some recommended dates. And so just want to get a little bit further guidance and direction from them on, what they think the most successful content might be. And again, we're looking for the mailings, we're looking for contributions to support the Professional Development Awards, fondly referred to as PDAs, and those go more for your professional development efforts, not so much degree or more academic pursuits. This is more like, I wanted to go to this conference and my department doesn't have the budget to help support me and do that, or I wanted to learn a new skill, which I think might be helpful for me in my job. So that kind of work. And we're looking for one-time contributions there or ongoing payroll deductions from staff and faculty and anybody here at the U. So that's still going to be our move forward. And really, I think at this point, it will be the committees moving forward into next year, right? Because in addition to searching for any maybe additional lines of contributions for a named scholarship, where we're going to, make sure that this year we get started getting those professional development award solicitations up and going on a regular basis. My goal would be that they become just regularly scheduled events that almost become self-fulfilling.
Oh, excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much. Any questions for Susan? Yeah, Amy.
Hi, Amy.
It's not really a question. I just wanted to add something on there. I just wanted to say for development, since I'm in the committee with Susan, I did find it is helpful to have someone, and I know it's not always obviously like a guarantee. I'm new to staff council myself. It is really helpful to have someone from advancement on staff council, just to be able to help development team get access to certain things, like for example, the vetting of like the list that we were doing. So I know I gave them a few of the connections. We made some good progress on getting a few connections so that they have it in the future, but just because things change, people's roles change. Sometimes people are no longer with the office, or things happen. And obviously like with staff council, like our roles change, and like it's like 3 years and all that stuff. I just wanted to say, like, just so we could put it out there, if we can keep a reminder to try to keep somebody in advancement in staff council, if potentially, or have a connection with somebody in advancement. So just because of the vetting purposes, like of getting the right list to the right people. So when we do, so just wanted to put that out there.
Excellent. Excellent. And I would say, Amy, encourage your advancement friends to
I will.
apply.
I will. I definitely will.
That's great. That's great. Any other comments or questions? Okay. All right. Events. Is Stephanie on the call? Stephanie Green? Ashley, do you see? Let's see. I don't know if it's just broken phones. Okay, well,
she's not, but I think between Bryant and I, we can kind of handle this. So I'm just going to read what I put on the agenda, and then Bryant can substitute in, or anyone else who's on the events committee. So our blood drive is on April 2nd, and I believe it's in the Union. And The Day of Kindness is also April 2nd, and that's also the day of our next staff council meeting. But we will have a table, and Betsy or Bryant, remind me, are we going to do the table near the blood drive? Was that the kindness, Day of Kindness table?
I think we're still brainstorming.
Okay,
Yeah.
sorry
because
guys, we're brainstorming.
we also wanted to put together some kind of giveaway at the table, and we're still trying to figure that out too. But we're also trying to get the foot traffic over to the blood drive.
Right. Okay, perfect. And then the end of year party, we are going to have it. I believe we're having
Yeah,
said-
I think I've,
Okay,
yeah, with
thank you.
the auxiliary business, with auxiliary business, and I haven't written the email yet, but we're planning on doing that. And then it will, I think we are planning on doing it during the general meeting in June as well.
So just to be clear, we won't be having a regular general meeting in June. We'll cancel that, but for staff members, staff council members, and ex officios, we'll have an end of the year event. So more to come.
Correct, yeah.
Groovy. That should be a really good time. Looking forward to that. Any questions for our lovely event folk? All right. Krista, legislature, what's going on?
Yeah, so we are in the last week of the legislative session, ends on Friday. And I just saw that the Senate has suspended the rules, meaning bills will start going through the House, going through much quicker because they don't have to keep reading them, rereading the bills. So make sure if you're planning on contacting your representatives that you do that quickly. Regarding HB 267, the public sector union organization bill that bans collective bargaining. I was a little bit concerned with how that may affect staff council. And David, his role is with UUSC on the Government Relations Committee. And so he has already reached out to General Counsel, and they are keeping an eye on it and going to let us know if it does impact us. But as far as our bylaws go, David and I are going to try to also meet with General Counsel and Jason Perry, see if anything needs to be changed to make sure we're compliant. We do specify in our bylaws that we do not participate in any collective bargaining, but SLIC did, their general counsel advised them to remove anything that said advocating or advocacy. So we just want to be sure. And Marie, you mentioned SB 282, that's the bill that changes when we hire a new president, instead of it being public when they have 3 or 4 candidates, it wouldn't be public until there's only 1 candidate. And so if you're interested in that or have a concern, yeah, now's the time to reach out about that. So yeah, make sure to contact your representatives, le.utah.gov. You can go there to find your representatives. You just put in your address and it'll show you who your House and Senate representatives are, what district you're in. Questions?
No, thank you.
Yeah. For HB 267, I meant to mention, the unions are trying to pass a ballot referendum. So once it's launched, they'll need 140,000 signatures within 30 days to get that. And if they do that, the referendum will be, the bill will be on hold until the 2026 elections, where the public will be able to vote on it then. So it doesn't look like it's been, they've launched the initiative yet, but if you are interested in keeping collective bargaining for teachers, firefighters, police, etc. And make sure to look out for where to sign that, and I can share that when I find out.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Krista. Any questions? And thank you, David, for dropping that URL in the chat. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Okay. Comms update. Anne, how are things going on the comms team?
Well, just bored as usual over here in comms, but we are trucking along. We have almost wrapped up getting all the content for the digest, which is great. And yay, yay, yay. But no other announcements from comms this month.
Excellent. Okay. Selections. Is Mel on the call? Oh, I'm sorry. I just saw a question. Was that Allie?
Sorry, Marie. I just wanted to give a shout out to Anne. She's representing staff council for the 175th celebratory relay race subcommittee. So I just really appreciate Anne volunteering to be on that committee, and we're very excited to have staff council representation.
Yay! All right. Thank you. And thank you, Anne. That's amazing.
You got it.
That's awesome. Cool. All right. Selections. Is Mel on the call?
I am. Hi, everybody. We are knee deep in giving awards for our latest professional development. I just got another acceptance. That's the funnest part of my job, is people saying, yay! So thanks for getting us the funds, Susan and your team. And it's fun to hand them out. So we're doing that, and then we'll have another cycle coming up shortly, and look forward to the faculty award and kind of getting that all figured out. Yeah, I think we are trucking along. And then new member applications coming up soon. Yeah.
And I would just ask or remind you, Melanie, once you get those acceptances, as you get headshots and statements, we can make sure they're in the digest, which will
absolutely. Yeah, I've got like 3 we're giving out 6 this time because someone from the last cycle wasn't able to accept the award. Usually we do 5. So I think I have 3 of the 6. So I figured I would just send them all to you, Anne, as soon as I have them all.
Okay, excellent. David, what is happening with new staff connections?
Yeah, we had some technical issues with our email list. We got those sorted out, and second round emails, the kind of 3-month time point, have started going out. It just went out yesterday morning, so except open rate is a little bit lower right now, but I'm not sure that's an accurate viewpoint, but I'll keep you updated. And then our committee is looking at kind of next steps. What do we take on as our next project, since we've kind of hit an equilibrium with sending out these emails. So more to come on that.
Awesome. And Ray, what is happening on the Access, Belonging, and Community Outreach Committee?
Has a month really gone by already? Oh, that's a lot. I can't think of any new updates for this month. Just excited to present our accessibility highlight today. And then next month we'll have another one. And we'll have one more in May, but more details on those to come.
Sorry, lost my mouse. Excellent. Thank you. Any questions for Ray or her committee? Okay, groovy. Well, we are running actually kind of ahead of schedule, which is great. Bryant, what's our countdown to close the ballot? I'm sorry, how many? 10? To join the club. 12 minutes. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Well, I would suggest, well, we could go two of three ways. We were planning on taking a short break at 2:50. We could move that up if y'all like, or if Ray, I don't know if you want to start presenting now and then we'll take our break after. We could do that too. What's your preference?
I think let's take a break for a moment, just so I can make sure our whole presenting team is on, and then I think we'll be good to go.
Okay, so why don't we'll go ahead and take 10 minutes now. It's 2:30. We'll hop on 2:40. And is that the time we're going to close the voting?
2:42.
2:42. Okay, 2:42, we'll close the voting. But if you want to turn off your camera, go take a respite, walk around the block, get a cooling beverage. We'll see you back in 10 minutes. So cool.
Hey, Ashley, are you able to give me permission to share my screen?
I'm sure I can. Let's
Thank you.
see how.
It says organizers and presenters, so I don't know if there's a way to mark me as like a presenter instead
Yes,
of
and I should have done that, and I did not. So I'm going to see if I can do it now.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ashley, are you still on?
I am.
Hey, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I must have hit a wrong button, but all of a sudden in the meeting chat, it's not allowing me, if I wanted to ask a question of my own, it's not allowing me that space to type in my own question. I can add like smiley faces and things like that to other people's comments, but I can't. It says chat is only available during the meeting.
I'm also having that problem too.
Okay. Let's see.
Ashley, often with that, it's easiest for folks to jump out and then jump back in because that'll reset it. That's just a Teams hiccup that happens from time to time. So if people jump out, that should reset it, but it doesn't always play nice. It's not anything anybody did. It's just a bug.
I just did that during our break and it's still doing it. So for me.
Okay.
Oh, Teams.
Oh, Teams. Well, it's the first time that's ever happened to me. So, and I'm like, the world's least technologically savvy person for solving problems like this. So,
you want to bet?
Okay. Sorry, Ray. I'm trying to figure it out.
All good. We have a few more minutes of break. I just wanted to make sure before we come back. Thanks for figuring that out.
Yeah, didn't mean to like insert my problem over yours, Ray. Sorry.
Chat is also important. Thanks, Susan. It sounds like you're not the only one too, so.
Permit funding selection.
All right. Well, it is, I was just going to say it's 2:40. So, Ray, are you guys all ready to chat with us about food accessibility?
Ray, could you send it to me and sorry, I know that's going to be kind of both, clunky, but I will do my best. And then I will make sure to get this adjusted for ongoing for the next meetings.
Sounds good. Let me send this to you. I'm using a different setup today, so bear with me. Why can't I search?
1 minute left. 1 minute left.
Did you hear my alarm? I set an alarm just to make sure.
Smart.
Are you able to access it, Ashley?
I think so. Let's see here. Oh, I've opened it 3 times. Hold on.
Okay, Marie, we've hit the 30-minute mark, so we're going to close the ballot for the election.
Can you see it?
Yep, looks gorgeous. Okay. All right. I think that means we'll get started here. Thanks everyone for joining us for our first installment of our accessibility highlight. This is something that's very dear to me and a few of the folks on my team. So we're going to be talking about food accessibility here on campus, which includes dietary restrictions, allergens, sensitivities, and just general community and belonging. I'll introduce you on our next slide to the team that's working on this. You have me, of course, I'm Ray. I use any pronouns. I work in the College of Humanities in the Department of Linguistics, but I'm also the chair of the Access, Belonging, and Community Committee for Staff Council, as well as other committees, ABC committees on campus. And I'll let Allie and Lex introduce themselves. Allie, why don't you start?
Hi, y'all. My name's Allie Menster. My pronouns are she, hers. I'm the Associate Director for Student Leadership and Involvement. I am a member of the ABC Committee and the Events Committee on Staff Council. I'm the co-chair for the Pride Week Committee on campus and board member of several of our scholarship boards and the MLK Committee. So really excited to be here and talk about this.
Hey, I'm Lex. I use he, him, or fey, fair pronouns if you're feeling particularly frisky. I advise for humanities, specifically for the college, the departments of history and philosophy here on campus.
And Lex, I'll let you talk about our outlines and learning outcomes on the next slide.
Perfect. All right, so I think it's easier with this kind of presentation to kind of know what's coming for y'all. So we have some outlines and learning goals, an introduction, which we've already done, a warning, please don't sue us, some general information about what allergens are and other restrictions that you might encounter. Ray's going to go into some on-campus experiences, and Allie is also going to talk about solutions, next steps, and how to accommodate severe allergens. Some learning goals, we want you to be aware that there are multiple kinds of allergens and understand that food restrictions vary from medical restrictions to cultural and religious restrictions, and just kind of work towards cultivating a culture of food accessibility on campus so that we can all eat. And the next slide, please.
Sorry.
All good. So this is my blanket warning. We're not doctors. Please don't sue us. Some of our information may not be medically accurate. The language used in the presentation is imprecise. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge that allergies, sensitivities, and intolerances are different things. If you've ever told a doctor that you have an allergy and been told, no, actually you have a sensitivity, you're right there with me. But for our purposes, they are serving the same goal of illustrating things that we shouldn't or may not feel comfortable eating without emergency aid nearby. And the information presented here is incomplete. We have a limited amount of time and we are trying to make the most of it. So we're covering big picture ideas more than specific nitty-gritty details. So what are we even talking about? What are allergens and restrictions? So we wanted to go over like kind of the broad categories of what these restrictions might look like for people. So for example, with religious restrictions, you might want to avoid having pork offerings. And you might want to avoid or offer to-go containers during fasting periods like Ramadan, if you're hosting food for an event, so that people don't feel excluded because they can't eat the food at the event. For dietary restrictions, there are allergies, of course, but there's also broad picture dietary restrictions like veganism, vegetarianism, or being on a keto diet, for example. For health restrictions, we want to acknowledge that there are medical conditions that aren't allergies that still restrict what food you can comfortably or safely eat. We recommend offering 0 or low sugar options. And then for cultural, we just want to take a moment to highlight and acknowledge that our campus is multicultural and that our food offerings should reflect that. So I want to go over some different kinds of allergens. I think we all have like a generic idea of what a food allergy looks like, whether that's from your own experience or from knowing someone with an allergen, or if you are incredibly lucky, seeing about it on TV shows, and not having personal experience. So it's not just food that you consume that can cause an allergic reaction. So there are things like airborne allergens. These are going to be environmental. So think hay fever, but also think food particulates, or especially relevant for our understanding here today, strong scents. Obviously, a scent isn't necessarily a food, but there are allergens that are specific to things that are inhaled through airborne means. With foodborne allergens, we want to highlight that this ranges from a sensitivity to an intolerance to a severe allergy, and the reactions to these vary widely. And I'll get into that in a little bit. And then for skin-borne allergens, these are things where if you have physical contact with skin to the allergen, it causes a reaction. Again, these reactions can vary, but the one that I want to highlight is that these are things like rashes, hives, swelling, and edema. So, a non-exhaustive list of allergies, emphasis on that non-exhaustive part, because you will find people that are allergic to things that you have never even considered someone ever being allergic to before. But some common ones to be aware of when you're either planning on catering to an event or having food in a shared space are going to include peanuts, tree nuts, gluten, dairy, and shellfish. But some other ones that I did want to highlight, just that are maybe a little bit more uncommon, but still prevalent enough that I think a broad warning is helpful, is going to be eggs, raw vegetables, fruits, mushrooms, starch, spices, and then again, emphasizing that strong perfumes and environmental issue. If you have fresh flowers in your office and someone has severe hay fever, that's a problem. If you have lavender in your office, I will not enter it. So, with that being said, I'm kind of going on to talk a little bit more about what reactions we might see. So for skin reactions, again, you have hives, redness, itching, inflammation. Again, you also can have fluid buildup and issues with swelling causing skin tears, that space. For airway reactions, this is restricted breathing, closing throats, anaphylaxis, kind of that characteristic allergic reaction that we see represented in media frequently. These are things that something like an EpiPen or epinephrine are going to be incredibly helpful for. And then gastrointestinal, these are kind of the understated dark side of food allergies, where the reaction isn't an immediate and obvious one, but can often last for weeks after contact or exposure. And no one wants to work with a stomach ache, and no one wants to have to live with an internal stomach ache for weeks, if not months, after eating something that they have a reaction to. But this will be things like pain, discomfort, bloating, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, all of the unfortunate things that you don't want to deal with at work, actually. And I also want to take a moment to highlight that allergies range in severity from being very mild to very life-threatening. And so one allergy is not equivalent to another, both within the same person if they have multiple allergens, but also from person to person with the same contact issue. And again, allergic reactions range in timing. Some of them happen immediately. Some reactions take weeks to abate, and some allergies don't appear for a really long time after exposure, and that can make figuring out what you're allergic to really difficult, and also can be a very invalidating experience if someone says, well, you just ate that and you seem fine. So moving on, we want to talk a little bit about safety procedures at this point in the presentation. We will talk about them more and in greater depth later, but something that I want to highlight so much for this presentation is the reality and danger of cross-contamination, because that's something that a lot of times gets overlooked. So cross-contamination refers to when an allergen may not be present in a food, but has had contact with it previously, and for people with severe allergies, that is enough to cause an allergic reaction. So some things that you can do to help prevent this is make sure that you have separate serving utensils for allergens. And if you are going to an event, put the serving utensil back with the dish that you found it in. Don't cause accidental cross-contamination. And then also clean surfaces that may have had contact with an allergen. If you're eating tree nuts or peanuts at your desk, wipe it down before someone else has the potential chance to become anaphylactic, because there were peanuts there that aren't immediately present now. Some other notes: if you don't know if something has an allergen or may have been cross-contaminated, please don't guess. Our ability to breathe is not worth your best guess. I'd rather get an I don't know and steer clear than a you should be good and be in trouble. And then listen to people. Don't police what others are eating. If you see someone eating something that you think contains one of their allergens, you can say, hey, as a heads up, I'm pretty sure that has bananas in it. But don't take their food away or tell them that they shouldn't be eating it. Something I want to highlight is that allergen-friendly food is often either missing from campus or much more expensive, and you don't know what food people have on any given day. It does look like our slides have vanished. Perfect, thank you. But you don't know what food people have, and sometimes dealing with a stomachache for a few days is worth not having food that day. So don't police what other people are eating, and then follow directions. If you are administering allergy medication or if you are taking it, don't play mix and match antihistamines. Don't do it. And then for our next slide, I also wanted to talk about some medical restrictions that aren't specifically allergy related. You don't need to know why someone can't eat something. So if they say, not for me, leave it at that. So we talked briefly about dietary restrictions. I want to highlight here salt, sugar, and cholesterol. I'd also like to take a moment to highlight autoimmune conditions like mast cell disorders, where someone's allergies may be variable and change day to day or year to year. And also looking at medication interactions. One that I want to highlight in particular is that there are a number of medications that you cannot have grapefruit with. Then that's not an allergic reaction, but it's still a bad idea. And so for our next slide, I also want to touch on stigma and shame. We are really good as a campus community at respecting cultural food differences. We are maybe not as great about respecting when someone says they can't eat something and aren't forthcoming with an explanation of why. So believe people when they say that they can't eat it. I know an experience I've had and a number of people with allergens have been saying, oh, I don't eat that, and being told, but have you tried this variant of it? And that's not helpful or productive, and it can be incredibly invalidating to be able to say, hey, I would rather not have that sauce, and have the rebuttal to that be, but it's really good. Have you tried it? And it's like, I'm sure it is. I will have hives. No, thank you. And it really sucks to be unable to eat a favorite snack in a shared space. And I do want to have a moment for that. It sucks much worse to feel like you can't safely access a shared space without risking a medical emergency. And I'll hand it over to Ray.
All right. So I'm going to talk about a few of my own personal experiences. And since Lex and I work in the same college, some of our shared experiences as well. Focusing on campus. So it's gotten a lot better. Things are going pretty well so far. I hope that they continue to get better. And there's a lot of places to eat around campus, mostly central campus. You know, I don't have all the information for our health campuses, but I'm sure they have probably similar options as far as like the sandwiches and maybe the prepackaged sushi, depending on how sensitive you are to those things. Sometimes they're great. A lot of these are very cross-contaminated and not as accessible for people who have allergies. A couple of places that are really great close by to campus is the Indochine, is how I pronounce it. Not sure if that's correct. I love them. Their food is great. The Rio Grande is pretty okay, and the pie, most people that know that they're gluten-free, has a separate kitchen, and it is probably one of the most accessible for folks who are gluten-free or celiac that I know of. However, as close as a lot of these are, it's still really unreliable for me because sometimes my workday doesn't line up with the hours of these places. Sometimes they're not super nutritious or balanced. Like at the campus store, I can get meat and cheese and chips, but I can't always get the vegetables or the fruit because they're either really expensive for not a lot, or they're mixed with crackers or pretzels or something else, or a sauce. And a lot of people on our campus do struggle with food insecurity, and you can't always get stuff at the food pantry that is allergen accessible. It costs so much money to eat healthy and gluten-free. I have to pay like $1 to $4 extra just for having an allergy than my counterparts who don't have an allergy. They just have a regular price. Thankfully, I hope that's changing. There was a recent lawsuit with Starbucks that they lost. They're not able to charge extra for alternative milks. So that's going to be a huge game changer in our accessibility with food landscape. Something else that I experienced on our next slide with events. We have so many events on campus. And I love it. It's the best place to get free food, especially as a starving student or as somebody that I already have to pay more for food. Getting free food on campus is amazing. And it's a great way to connect with our community. So some issues I've come across with like our potlucks in our college. Our department gets assigned a side or a dessert, which is really difficult when suddenly I show up to our event and there's nothing I can eat except for salad and cookies. And that might be okay for some people, but for me, depending on your lifestyle, I might need a little more than that. And I don't want to take away a limited side dish from people who maybe that's also the only thing they can eat. So if you have people with allergens, I recommend assigning them a main dish if you can, if that department can afford it. And also having ingredient cards with everything. Even most places probably don't do it themselves. Some places do, but it's really, really helpful if you have the extra time to do it, having what's in it or having somebody who's close by who knows the answers to those things of what is this and what's in it so that I can make the decision for myself if I can eat it or not. I love attending staff council things and I love winning prizes and it's so fun and I love participating. But boy, oh boy, is it so disappointing and so disheartening when I win something or I earn something and it's something that I don't actually get to participate in. Our college has given us a gift card for a bagel place that I have not used in a whole year because I can't eat there and it's not super accessible for our team. And so I just have it sitting in my desk getting old. I will get gifts that have cookies in them, and I don't actually get to enjoy them, and I pass them on to my partner. And it's great that it's a thought that counts, but when it's only the thought that counts, it feels a little bit performative, and I don't actually feel included or cared about in these scenarios. So if you're really wanting to show your appreciation for your employees, you should really be inclusive and considerate of everyone's restrictions as much as you can. More emphasis on labeling everything. I have had it a couple of times, especially with my vegan and vegetarian students, that sometimes people will think, oh, this salad is a side, so I'm going to take a little bit, or I don't feel like eating any of these things, I'm going to take this one instead, which is absolutely okay. However, if you only order a limited amount, like I said, gluten-free stuff is very expensive. So usually I'll only be able to order a few specific meals for the people I know are attending that have allergies. And so I'll put up this sign that says, don't have any allergies or restrictions, please save these specific meals for those who do. It can be really, really helpful. If you are ordering catering on campus, these are just some of my recommendations. They are the most allergen friendly that I've been able to find. Costa Vida and Zao is 95% gluten friendly and has vegetarian options. I'm not sure if Zhao's sauces are vegan, but there's a possibility there. Firehouse Subs, if you like sandwiches, and I think they're one of our more affordable options on here, they finally have gluten-free bread, so I'm really excited about that. Spitz is also halal. If you have folks that need halal, a halal option, Spitz is great. The pie is great. However, Via 313 actually tastes like regular pizza, and it's not just flatbread. It's so delicious. So if you ever want to splurge a little bit and spoil those allergen-friendly folks, they also have dairy-free option that does not taste like glue. And most of these I think are local, so we love supporting local as well. Just a reminder on our next slide here, if you do not have a restriction, you can eat food that is allergen friendly. If you have a restriction, you cannot eat food that is allergen friendly. And so if you're ordering a bunch of food and you have a gluten-free pizza that's left, people who are not gluten-free can still eat that gluten-free pizza and it's not going to go to waste. However, if you only order for people who do not have an allergy, the people who have that allergy are really missing out and don't get to be included. So it's just being considerate of your community and advocating for your colleagues and coworkers and students. And yeah, next up is Allie.
Thanks, Ray. Hi, y'all. Okay, so I'm going to talk about solutions and next steps, how to sustainably be accessible. Next slide, please, Ashley. Okay, so there is a lot of considerations, including HR considerations that you can explore for food allergies and ADA accessibility. So again, we are not professionals in the medical field or in the HR field, so please consult your HR representative for your area. But there are many resources on campus to help students and employees with food allergy support in the workplace. It starts with the team, though. Next slide, please. Okay, so supporting severe food allergies in work. I like to self-disclose. I am severely allergic to cinnamon, so I do go into anaphylaxis with it. It's not a common allergy. And so when I was teaching school, I would have to go and talk to my students about it as well as their parents for when they would bring lunches in. So supporting allergies in the workplace might look a little different. Some individuals might not be as comfortable listing out their allergies, or they might have a general overview. So it's important for whatever someone is comfortable disclosing to please listen to that. Managers can support employees in very different ways with severe food allergies by creating a safe workplace space. So creating clear policies. If the individual feels comfortable having like a food allergy policy that they talk about in staff meetings, making sure there are safety measures outlined. I always carry my EpiPen on me, and then I always have one in my office as well. So when I go to a new office, I started in my new role in July. I went through kind of a training course, if you will, with the staff that I work with and my student staff to let them know. Generally, I like to give myself my own EpiPen shot, but if it happens that I cannot and I'm not physically able to, I watch them through how to do that. So if you are feeling comfortable or not comfortable doing that, having a designated person who can be that person and then having a backup individual in case they're on vacation is really important to help save a life. Also, designating allergy-friendly zones or food-free areas to minimize risk. Sometimes we don't know what someone's allergy is. So when they come in and visit with us, we have a very student-facing office. So we don't have food in the front area of our office just in case there are severe allergies that we do not know about. And we want to make sure that students are aware that our back area with our kitchenette, that surface does get cleaned anytime anyone uses that kitchenette, but there is potential there. So we want to make sure that they're aware and comfortable with the areas that they're in. Next slide, please. There's also education and raising awareness. So training employees on food allergy awareness, the symptoms that they might see, and emergency response. The University of Utah does have a policy that we do need to call 911. Some individuals might not want to pay, though, for that ambulance bill, especially because our university hospital is so close. If they are feeling willing and able to drive themselves or call for their own personal transport, and they sign off with the EMTs, they are allowed to do that. They do have to sign off with a medical professional. We also have a really great Red Med clinic system here. So our Red Med clinic that is in the Union building The PA actually has come up before. I had an allergy incident that happened last year. And so she came up to distribute my EpiPen and stayed with me and went with me up to the hospital. So it was really great to have emergency medical staff so close nearby. So locate your nearest Red Med clinic or any medical staff that might be near you. On medical campus, obviously, you have closer accessibility there. But on lower campus, there are a lot of Red Med clinic locations or locations with medical personnel. Make sure to clearly label shared food areas and potential allergens in the workspace kitchens. We have a shared fridge in our office. So I do go over with our faculty, staff, anyone that visits us, that, curries, things that say spiced in them, even decorations have cinnamon in them. Those lovely little pine cones are my nemesis. And so, thinking about your decor in the holidays, what you bring in to share, and just making sure that we're keeping everyone safe. And then promoting a culture of respect and understanding among coworkers. Sometimes it is like it's an unusual allergy. And so, I like to make light heart of, I have cinnamon allergy, and a lot of people ask me if, I've ever had a cinnamon roll. I haven't, but they always look good. So yes, but kind of knowing and assessing what the individual's like, and if that's something that they can be lighthearted or joke about, or if it's something that really affects them and impacts them when there is jokes made. Next slide, please. Okay, emergency preparedness. So again, have a designated person to call, proper medical care, 911, Red Med for if it's a less serious reaction, if they are able to walk down to the Red Med clinic, and if it is a skin reaction. It really varies on what the contamination is and how they've been impacted. Have a clear emergency action plan. This is something that you can do with your HR representative. You can also do it directly with your supervisor. My supervisor in our current office, she's been amazing working with me on accommodations with our HR rep. So we designated a person to support and call 911 and a person to be with me and kind of monitor things. And then making sure that key staff are aware of recognizing anaphylaxis. So that can look differently to the individual. It could start really slowly, or it could be a really immediate reaction. And how to administer epinephrine if necessary. It's important that individuals are monitored too once they've had epinephrine. It does increase your heart rate. It will make you a little jittery. And so making sure that you clear the area and only have needed personnel by that individual too. We don't want to make anyone feel like they're a spectacle. Next slide, please. So supporting severe allergies, again, improving workplace safety, adjusting catering policies for meetings or events by offering allergy-safe options. Ray and Lex both went over some amazing options for that and what that can look like. For me, with our lovely student affairs events, I always work and communicate with organizers if there's trainings or things that I'm going to, if I'm presenting on anything, that I connect with them and say, oh, hey, like this is my allergy, like what are you serving? And so I can kind of look at the menu ahead of time. I might just adjust my attendance where I skip the breakfast portion of it. I'm not intentionally wanting to miss things, but I also just want to make sure if it is an airborne thing, it does impact me. And so I won't be able to be in attendance for it. And so we always want to make sure that we're thinking about airborne allergies as well, and what that might look like, making sure we have vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free options, of course, and nut-free options. And then if you are serving food, thinking about prepackaged things that have the ingredients on them, or those ingredient labels are essential, down to salt, pepper, and seasonings too. Next slide, please. This is a lovely sign that my boss made our office. So we have these all over our office. And we just ask individuals to respect that there is an allergy when they come into our space. A lot of the students comment on it. She did a beautiful job with the design. And so I just really appreciate, I have to shout out my boss, Cassie Zamora Cathcart, that, our office has been very accommodating. It doesn't always happen that way. So if you can be accommodating as a supervisor or manager and support your employee, it is really helpful. There are times when I have to work remote or have a flexible schedule due to the office environment posing a risk. During holiday celebrations is the biggest time. So usually November and December are a little trickier. And so we just navigate that together. The building events team here in the union are also amazing people, and Chartwell, so they'll send me a list of events that have food so I can kind of see and make sure I avoid going into certain rooms during that season in particular. And then offering alternatives to communal food and team building events that might involve food. It could be things like you are sharing packaged snacks, or even that you share things that are non-food related. So everyone brings their own food to eat. You go to Red Butte for a beautiful walk and get your WellU credits, and maybe share a fun craft or something instead. And making sure that if the individual feels comfortable posting signs that you do, if they don't, that's okay too. Next slide, please. All right, so here are our takeaways.
And I can jump in on these ones, Allie, since I think I typed up this slide. So some takeaways. We want to acknowledge that it is not always possible to accommodate every allergy. You may not know about someone's allergens, or it might be a weird or a variable one, or it might be a kind of inescapable one. In the interest of being upfront, I'm allergic to pepper. I can't escape that. And fortunately, I don't have a severe reaction, but I'm also not going to be upset if everyone else at the event wants their food to be flavored. So, with that being said, we're asking that you do your best, not that you be perfect. Create a safe space and advocate for your colleagues and students. Again, there are ADA accommodations and there are routes you can take through HR to get those accommodations, but it's a much more comfortable environment if you also feel like your team is on your side. So consider sending out surveys if you know who will be attending an event and ask for restrictions in advance. This can be a great way to deal with uncommon allergens. So if you find out that someone is allergic to pineapple, you can plan around that, which I know Ray has done a phenomenal job of accommodating a pineapple allergy over in linguistics. And then mistakes happen. People with allergies are used to navigating them. We notice your efforts to accommodate us. We don't need them to be perfect. The fact that you care is often more than we've had in a long time. So, with that, together we can create a culture around food on campus that is healthy, fulfilling, and sustainable. We are all people. We all deserve to eat. And like Ray was saying, it's nice to feel appreciated in a way that you can actually accept and do something with rather than just being like, great, thanks. And then be mindful of contamination in shared spaces. I know we've all brought this up, but again, that's the biggest thing in a workplace environment with allergens is that it is a shared space. And due to the nature of the world, it's not actually possible for people to just avoid things all the time. And then consider eating common allergens outside of your office if you have visitors with allergies often. So if you are any kind of student advisory role, that's something that I really want to highlight is go elsewhere to eat your common allergen snack. Wipe down surfaces like your desk after allergens have come in contact with them. And then just a note for those airborne allergens, since that's something that is often both very dangerous, but also doesn't get talked about or thought about very often, be mindful of airflow with fans and vents when you are eating. Um, so this is something that can be as simple as don't eat right in front of a fan because that's going to disperse that allergen throughout the entire space instead of being limited to something that you can wipe down afterwards. But yeah, those are our takeaways, and then I'm going to hand it back to Allie for some resources.
Okay, so a couple resources that we utilize for this presentation and that we recommend for y'all. If you would like to research further, there's the FAIR, which is Food Allergy Research and Education Network. They are great about offering workplace training and materials, educational videos, guidelines for managing food allergies. The Allergy and Asthma Network, because we're in Utah, the air quality really impacts individuals. So understanding that a little bit better as well can be very helpful to supporting your employees and yourself. American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. This is a really interesting space as well. They offer expert reviewed materials on workplace safety and anaphylaxis management. And of course, reach out to HR accommodations team for supporting you or your employee/coworker with allergies. Thanks, everyone.
I do want to highlight really quickly, in an intersectionality training that I went to a couple years ago, they talked about how people tend to care more if they know people personally of either that religion, that culture, or that disability in our case. And so I just want to highlight, if you already don't have somebody in your life with allergens or restrictions, now you know Allie, Lex, and I, and you can think of us when you are planning events or attending events, and making sure that you're not adding to the cross contamination. So thank you guys for being a part of our community and listening to us.
And
Thanks,
one
y'all.
quick last note, really fast. If you are in an office space that has like a communal first aid area, consider having Benadryl or another antihistamine for mild reactions on hand for people.
That's awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to all of you for sharing this today. And I think if you don't mind sending a copy of your presentation to Anne, I think this would be an amazing thing in our next newsletter to share. And I'm just wondering if maybe if you even want to highlight what are, do you want to pull a couple, 2 or 3 links that we can call out in the newsletter as well? So like just the shorthand, but this is amazing. And I will think of all 3 of you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Absolutely. Anyone have any questions or comments? I thought that was super helpful. I can't wait till next month. All right. Well, excellent. That was amazing. Bryant, do you have any news to share?
I do. We have the excuse me, little frog in my throat just then. We do have the outcome for our election for today. So congratulations to those who are going to be on the executive council. So for our president-elect, we do have Allie Mensdorf. Congratulations. Secretary-elect, we have Ashley Hogan. And for our treasurer-elect, we have Jason Lee. Welcome to the team, everybody. And for everybody else, the chair positions are still open. So if you're interested in being part of the leadership, please let me know, and we can get you into one of the chair-elect positions, probably.
And I want to thank everyone who was nominated or nominated themselves and was willing to run, because that's what makes staff council so amazing, is people who care and want to get involved. So yeah, I just ditto exactly what Brian says. So please, more nominations, please. And yay, congrats to Allie, Ashley, and Jason. Woohoo! Yeah, Ray.
On nominations for chairs, are we able to make more than one nomination, or is it like one nomination per thing? Okay, I'll just refresh the page then. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah. And so just so everybody knows, when you nominate someone, then our president-elect will reach out to that person, let them know they've been nominated, and, answer questions and decide if they want to accept the nomination. So yeah, please, you all make staff council great. So, and remind your friends to apply for next year too. Fantastic. Any other questions? I'm so excited. It's amazing. Okay, let's move on to our liaison updates. Is Andrea or anyone from main campus HR on the line today, or hospital HR? I'm taking that silence as a not today. Bree, any updates from employee childcare, the world of?
I do not have any updates at this time, but thanks.
Okay. All right. Is Aaron Sullivan on the call today?
She had to step away, but said mentioned in the chat a symposium for youth protection coming up, and included a link.
Awesome. Thank you, Krista. Kara, is Kara Friedman on the call?
She had to step off, but Earth Month coming soon.
No, I'm here.
Oh, there you are.
Hi. No, yes, Earth Month coming soon. Thanks so much, Ray. The announcement that I wanted to make was I was in our on-campus gardens just today doing some seed blocking. So we're going to be starting volunteer
sessions really soon for our on-campus gardens. And this is a really awesome opportunity for you actually to organize a time with your team, your department, for some hands-on, get together social kind of activity. So I've just dropped a link in the chat, and that's to request a group shift that is outside of our volunteer shifts. It can be a particular topic that you might be interested in, or it can just be, hey, let's have a Friday afternoon where we want to get our hands dirty and be together in a slightly different way than we normally do. Gabrielle is amazing running the gardens, and so I highly recommend. Happy to answer questions, but that's my announcement for today. The gardening season is upon us. It's coming.
Excellent. And I'm probably reading your mind, Kara, but you probably have a note into Anne to remind people in our upcoming newsletter. I'm guessing. I am guessing. Susan, I see your hand up.
Just wanted to ask Kara, is there like a place if we wanted to plan in advance for like late spring, like May or June, to do a departmental sign up? Is there a place that I would go, like a website, or where would I look for that?
Yep. So that link that I just dropped, form.asana.com, that brings you to a place that's asking, are you a class? Are you a work group? How many people are you expecting? And as long as you can have like 8 to 10 people, we can coordinate a time that works for you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Also, Ian, I see your question about I'm not actually sure, and I wish we could ask Britta. I don't know what the future of WellU looks like in terms of the challenges. And so I don't have an answer for you at the moment.
Is Whitney Werner on the call? I'm just looking. Okay, yeah, I don't see Whitney on the call either. Okay. Yeah, that would be great, Kara, if you could advise. That'd be wonderful. Any other questions? Garden related or other?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Really quick. I remember last year sometime, somebody or someplace on campus that mentioned giving away seeds. Do you guys remember that? Or where can I look for that?
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got seed libraries on campus. One place will be at the main Nu'evat Edible Campus Garden location. The seeds aren't out there quite yet, but they will just be in a little free little library type box. Where we already have seeds is up at the Eccles Health Sciences Library. They're a seed library location as well. And so anytime that library is open, there's a spot that you can do it. I will also say off campus, the public library, Salt Lake City Public Library, also has a seed library.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Susan. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry, I was doing it simultaneously as you were talking about it.
I love it. I love it. We're just supporting the seeds and the growth and the plants. We had a department volunteer day. So I was packing seeds this morning and also making these seed block things, and it's great. So I'm glad to share with you all.
Nice. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? I'm excited to run outside my backyard. Okay, Kimberly Barnett, is she on the call?
I am. Hi, everyone.
Yay.
Yeah. Yes, this is the time of year that I become a broken record. So here I go again. Sorry for everyone who's already heard me, but there are just a few days left to register for our department's Utah Campus Safety Summit that we host each year. Registration does end on Monday. We have some amazing speakers that will be presenting. I'll just give a quick plug. We are bringing in 2 national speakers as our morning and lunch keynote. Our morning keynote is a woman named Dr. Jillian Peterson, and she's a forensic psychologist and a professor of criminology. And She's also the executive director of the Violence Prevention Project. So she's going to be using data and research from her work on mass shooters in higher education over the past 30 years. So I think it's going to be fantastic. Our lunch keynote will be focusing on workplace violence. He's an expert in this field. So again, registration does end on Monday, and reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Awesome. Any questions? Okay. We didn't see Whitney on the call. Mandy, what is going on in your neck
Hi
of the
everybody.
woods?
Yeah, so in terms of HR events, again, I'm not sure if I know I made this announcement to the executive council last week, but I'm not sure I've announced it to a larger group, but we do officially have a date for Employee Appreciation Day this year. It's September 25th, the last Thursday in September. Right before this meeting, I had my very first kickoff meeting with my planning team, so things are in action. I'm sure during the meetings throughout the year, I will solicit this group for brainstorming, ideas, etc. So again, I'll be a broken record here until September talking about Employee Appreciation Day, but I appreciate any insight you guys have, any ideas. I love that kind of stuff. Even the presentation that we just had from Ray's group, like, has me thinking about, yeah, we definitely need to make sure we have food for everyone at EAD, which we've tried to do, but we probably could do a better job. So yeah, so stay tuned for more EAD news. I just wanted to quickly plug again, HR Roundtable is happening on March 27th. I just dropped a link for registration for that. So again, I know people, Jason Perry's been out there, is on people's calendars to talk about the legislative updates and the session recap and stuff. This is just another opportunity for that. So yeah, if you want to join us on March 27th, you definitely can. And again, if you do want to sign up for our HR Roundtable newsletter, I highly recommend, I dropped another link. I highly recommend signing up for the HR Roundtable newsletter if you want announcements about roundtable meetings and general HR stuff, especially if you're like an office administrator or handle anything sort of HR related in your world. And that's all from me.
Excellent. Excellent. Any questions for Mandy? Kim, did you see Krista is asking if you could drop a link for the safety day in the chat?
You bet. Yep, I'll do it right now.
That would be amazing. All right, Solomon, I saw you're on the call. How are things going in the land of transportation and commuter services?
Things are pretty good. We're doing our spring bike census next month, and so we'll have some new data on how many people are riding to campus. Other than that, I imagine most of you know how parking is, so don't need to tell you. And we're continuing to work on programs that hopefully can resolve some of that.
Fantastic. Any bike or parking related questions or anything else about commuting? How's tracks going? Are they getting more drivers in?
Yeah, UTA is still struggling a little bit.
Okay.
Their drivers is the cause of all of the shortages and routes and everything. Our ridership last week, I can actually tell you right now. Total ridership was up 6% over January, 4% for the year to date, 1% from last year, or 15% from the average of last year, 1% from February of last year. So yeah, the thing is, UTA ridership is very incrementally increasing. We're seeing that ever since we returned from hard COVID. So it's slowly being adopted, and as that's being adopted, they are getting more drivers. So it's just kind of improving very slowly, but getting there.
Excellent. Excellent, excellent. All right. Well, it is, oh wow, we are 31 minutes-ish ahead of schedule. This is amazing. So I'd like to just open the floor if if anyone has any shout outs or successes they'd like to share. Now would be a phenomenal time. All right then. Oh, yay, David. Shout it out, man.
Yeah, I wanted to shout out to selections because just the continual work and it doesn't get seen as much, and the fact that all the work that they do just really makes a big impact, and I just really big shout out to them.
So very excited. I want to give a shout out to Bryant as he is jumping into the election process this year. And also I ditto your comment about the selections team because there are a lot of moving parts to put together next year's staff council. So I want to thank everybody for participation. Anyone else? All right, then. Ashley, I'm going to pass it back to you. Ashley?
Okay, sorry, my mic wouldn't turn on.
Oh.
We are back. This is, yeah, we're learning how these webinars work and don't work. So we need a motion and a second to adjourn. So can someone give me a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Thank you. And a second?
Second.
All right, we can adjourn and our next general meeting is April 2nd.
Excellent. Thank you all so
Bye,
much.
everyone.
Bye. Go get some seeds. Go plant something.